Hello everyone, this is Juan from Kenhub. Welcome to another tutorial. This time I'm going to be talking about the muscles of the upper arm and the shoulder blade. Like you see here on this image, we have the humerus here, which is the main bony framework of the upper arm. And on your left side, you have here the triangular shaped bone known as the scapula, or also known as the shoulder blade. Now, we are going to be discussing the different muscles that you can find within the humerus and also attached somehow to the scapula. Now, as you know, you may split muscles into several groups based on different criteria like innervation, functions, or even embryology. But on this tutorial specifically, we will be looking at these muscles, or the muscles that have their attachment points or lay on, or their bellies are laying on these two bones, the humerus and the scapula. Now let's look at the first topic here on our tutorial, the muscles of the upper arm, which I can tell you that can be also split into two groups. The first one, the ventral group, which includes the biceps brachii and also the brachialis muscle. Also, you can find another group known as the dorsal group, which includes the anconeus and also the triceps brachii. Now let's start with the very first group here, the ventral group, and with the first muscle of this list, which you see here highlighted in green. This is known as the biceps brachii. Now the biceps brachii has, like the name indicates, is divided into two heads. Now the short head, as you can see here, and the long head of the biceps brachii. Now, as you see here on these images where we highlighted the heads in green as well, you notice that the long head is originating right here from the supraglenoid tubercle of the scapula. And on the short head, you see that the origin point is right here on the coracoid process of the scapula. Now, these two heads will merge then to insert right here on the radial tuberosity of the radius, and also, as you can see, this portion right here, this is on the antebrachial fascia. Now let's move on to the second one on our list, this muscle here that you see highlighted on both of these images in green. Now on the left side on this image, it's found on its relaxed position, while on the right side is where you see it contracted. Now can you guess what this muscle is? Well, it is indeed the brachialis muscle. Now, the brachialis originates right here on this point that you can see here from the distal half of the anterior portion of the humerus and also the medial and lateral intermuscular septum. Now, it goes all the way to insert right at this point here on the ulnar tuberosity. Now, taking a second look here on the list of the muscles of the upper arm to say that we just concluded the ventral group and going to move on to the dorsal group. To the first muscle on our list, here the anconeus muscle. You also see two images here where this muscle is highlighted and found on its contracted version and also relaxed version. Now, this muscle originates from the lateral epicondyle of the humerus, as you can see right here, and it goes all the way to insert on the olecranon of the ulna, right about here. Now, the second muscle on the dorsal group is this muscle here that defines the dorsal portion of your upper arm. So a lot of people go to the gym to work on this muscle, and as you probably guessed, this is the triceps brachii. Now, as the name indicates, and as we've seen on the biceps brachii, the triceps brachii has three heads. Now, the first one is seen here, highlighted in green. This is known as the long head, and the long head originates right about here on the infraglenoid tubercle of the scapula. Now, a little bit more medially, you will find then the medial head, which is also highlighted here in green, and you can see that this head is originating from the posterior surface of the humerus, a little bit distal from the radial groove. Now, it also inserts on the intermuscular septum, more specifically on the medial portion of the intermuscular septum. Now, the third head is seen here and, of course, found more laterally, and we call it then the lateral head of the triceps brachii, and it is originating right about here on the posterior surface of the humerus as well, but this time proximal to the radial groove. This head is also attaching to or originating from the lateral intermuscular septum. Now, the three heads are merging, as you can see on either of these three images,